Parashat Devarim, something very exciting because Parashat Devarim is very unique, and we are entering Tisha BeAv as we exit the Shabbat. It's a very special Shabbat where we're celebrating instead of fasting, a taste of the Tisha BeAv that is to come. So I wanted to share one idea that I think is interesting that I never realized before until this year. That we were 40 years in the desert. That's the end of the 40 years in this parsha. And Moshe Rabbeinu is the last few days. And there in Rashi, well, there in the Torah, it says that Hashem has worked hard on us. And וגם יד השם הייתה בם להומם מקנא המחנה עד תומם. That Hashem was really on our generation during the 40 years, the generation that did the Chet HaEgel. It was on us, lehumam, to make it intense for us, to make it like difficult or to work hard. Why? In order, so Rashi says, in order that it should be easier for our kids, or that we don't affect our kids in a way that the kids won't be able to enter into Eretz Israel. So in a way, it's as if to say, you know why I'm making it so hard on you these days? So that you kids don't become like you. So that you kids are doing the right things and are being holier than you and finally come into Eretz Israel. We have to ask ourselves, are we pushing our kids to go to Eretz Israel? We're comfortable in our exile, they're here. That's not what we're supposed to do. So Hashem has to force us and make it difficult and until we have to realize we have to move to Israel. It's a problem. Are we during this Tisha BeAv pushing our kids, infusing our kids, I'm talking to myself of course, to send them to Israel, to give them the law of Israel, to make them understand why being in Israel is so important. And that all the troubles that happens today is because we refuse to go into the land of Israel. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, it's dangerous. Oh, that's the same speech that we had before Matan Torah. Entering into Eretz Israel the first time by Meraglim, and we bring the Meraglim in this parsha. So we're like, it's crazy. It's like we're doing the same mistake. So we have to infuse our kids and show that we did something wrong. We are still in exile. We're not supposed to be in exile. We're supposed to go in Israel. The Gemara says, until you're in Israel, you're not a real Jew. What does that mean to you? That we're not a real Jew. That we're like idolaters outside of Israel. Tell that to your kids, that they understand. Understand it yourself, what that means. And so that means we cannot be true Jews until we go in Israel. We cannot bring the Bet HaMikdash until most of the Jews, the Moshiach. If today, I find it crazy of an idea. Crazy, but look, if today all the Jews, let's say Orthodox, Conservative, Reform, okay, let's say all those three, all those Jews will all go to Israel today, that's it, Moshiach will come instantly. Because we clearly show that Hashem want to be back home with our Av. The 9th of Av with our Father who has a home, which is called Bet HaMikdash, to say, you're coming back home. Let me make the home so we can get together. So anyway, that's not even what I was going to say. But what's happening is that we have to realize that this is the key, is that we want to go back home to Israel. Just like Moshe Rabbeinu, who was praying 515 tefillot to go to Israel. So we have to do the same tefillot. And we have to not make sure that our satisfaction and comfortable life here should not affect our kids, because then Hashem is going to hit hard. So we have to plan it. I say, yeah, can you move tomorrow? Well, some can. They have the money. That like, for those who can't on the spot, like me, well, you have to ask your rabbi also. The rabbi Ismail tells you when, what you should do, but you have to plan. You have to plan. You can't just say, look, no, I'm good here. I'm not planning. I'm not planning. Then you're doing the same thing as a miraglim. You cannot say or at least Orthodox Jews and say I'm not planning. If you're a Jew, you have planning, because the whole problems of all of history is because we refuse to go to Eretz Israel. So that's the key. A Jew who doesn't have the desire in him to and long to go to Israel and is planning and visioning and speaking about it, then he's not really a Jew. I mean, he's a Jew, but he's disconnected from he'll never be himself completely until he goes there. So he's disconnected from his potential. Now, what I wanted to say specifically today is that it says that Hashem has sent us who. So it says Hashem is killing who in the desert, the 40 years. He has to wait till they die. The people from after the Chet HaEgel, who did the Chet HaEgel, Kol Anshe HaMilchama, Lamus Mikerev Ha'am. The people of war. So who, Rashi says, who are the people of war? I think there's many ways to really explain it. The people who fights against Hashem, who fight against the unity of the Jews, against going to Eretz Israel. We could say that, but Rashi doesn't say that. Anshe HaMilchama miben 20 shana hayotzim batzava. So it's saying at the time of the Chet HaEgel, all the people, all the men, between 20, I believe it's 60, 20 and 60, but anyway, all the other ones, 20 and up, are the ones who are going to disappear. Are going to die in the desert. That's the old generation who led the generation the wrong way. But now the new generation in the desert that is going to go in are not necessarily what we think, just the new children, a whole new generation. All the women who were there at the Chet HaEgel, they all go at the time of the Meraglim. All the women are going into Eretz Israel. It's only the man that dies. So why? It's only the men. And we know that we're going to go back to Israel. Moshiach is going to come. We're going to merit Moshiach b'zchut nashim tzidkaniot, thanks to the holy righteous women. So I find it fascinating. It's thanks to none of the women are prevented from going to Israel. Only the men. So it means that some women have something that we men are missing. We're not listening to our women. There's a sensitivity, a heart, an emotional part of the woman that gives us the true essence and the true way to love each other and to desire the land of Israel, to create a family. We have to rebuild the Bet HaMikdash. That's a family. And therefore, I think one of the message is that we have to work on becoming better husband, on understanding our spouse better, understanding their emotion, understanding how they think what's right. They have intuition, they have Bina Yesera, they have a higher level of intuition understanding. And we have to learn from that. Because then we will be able to love each other, respect each other, and know what's wrong and right on a deeper level. Women sense the deeper things. And therefore, if we become better spouse, and we learn from the women, the lessons from the women, then we will be able to go into Eretz Israel and rebuild Israel and rebuild the Bet HaMikdash. The strongest part of a woman is her heart, her emotions, her unconditional love for her kids. She doesn't have the ego like the man. And it means that we have to work on the heart. It means we have to learn to love in the way a woman loves. if I could say something like that, if it's possible. But I really think that it's fantastic message here that Rashi is telling us. It's not the men of war who are gonna help us succeed. You know what's gonna help us succeed? It's the women of love, not the men of war. So may we all learn from our holy, precious Jewish women who are sensitive, so sensitive. I'm a Khatan teacher and a marriage coach, and how many guys always tell me, my wife is so sensitive, crazy sensitive. Well, yeah, you know why? Because we as human beings, we have to learn to be super crazy sensitive. And your house, your marriage is a rehab for sensitiveness, so that you can go in the world and not hurt anyone. And be careful with every word you say, with every action you do, because maybe you might hurt the other. So we have to be sensitive enough to be able to rebuild the temple and love the way women love, like a mother who loves her child unconditionally. So may we be able to learn all those great lessons and transform ourselves and set ourselves to go into a world with the temple, with Moshiach, and celebrate who we have become, the work we have done, and really the main thing is to be close to Hashem. We want to be close to Hashem, and we want Moshiach really not for us, because we don't want Moshiach, because there's so much. I didn't perfect myself yet enough. I still have so much work to do. So it wouldn't be beneficial for us human beings to ask for Moshiach. We usually ask Moshiach because we don't want any suffering. Yeah, but that's because I don't want to suffer. I don't want people to suffer. The real reason we should want Moshiach is because of Hashem, because we love Hashem, because we want Hashem's name and His glory to be revealed all over the world, and people to see the true reality of who God is, and that there's really only good in the world. And to make all the darkness and pain and suffering disappear for God's sake, not just for us, because we brought it on ourselves, really. So may we all be able to achieve that level, the level of the woman. We're supposed to be the wife of Hashem as Jews, and let's learn the lesson for our holy woman, and we'll bring Moshiach and have a temple again all together like one big huge family. Love you all. Have a Shabbat Shalom.